The fallout of Anthropic and DOW was not intense because of something what Anthropic said that it did not wanted to uh, condemn, or sorry, did not wanted to get into, or what DOW wanted and Anthropic refused. That is not what the case was. It was the reason why it was so intense is because it was all was happening between US Iran conflict. Okay, so that was kind of an intensity, it was during an intense time of war that was happening. So what it was, to you clarify, the Anthropic just had two kind of an demands which they did not wanted to have any kind of conditions regarding it, and they wanted to have full control on that demand and would kind of a contract they wanted from DOW. Like they do not wanted to give these two things lightly. So what are this what so what are these two things? Simple. One is the one is the mass surveillance on people, basically through AI, and the second is making of fully automatic weapons. Now, both of this, one of that is pretty much simple. Mass surveillance basically means spying on people with the help of AI, actively spying. 24 hours with, let's say, phones, whatever you have, and cameras all around the world, and through satellite, whatever it is, through the new technology they will be developing through AI. Or the other one, that is the kind of a simple one, but the full automatic ones are kind of an there is a lot of range. Fully automatic does not mean a humanoid robot. Fully automatic can also mean a weapon that is being used by AI without any kind of human interference. So basically, let's say a weapon, like I said, whatever it is, can be operated by humans. Now that human will be replaced, and AI will make a kind of a decision if fire or not to a specific kind of a target. That is also a case here. So there are a lot of version of fully automatic weapons, but yeah. Now these two points from Anthropic, they said they did not wanted to give any kind of loose ends or anything regarding these 2 points, and DOW, if they want to have AI and if they want to use our AI, these are the 2 points we should agree with, and AI should not be in use. DOW on the response got kind of an angry and basically shut down and do not wanted to use Anthropic at all, and basically kind of a named name supply chain risk. What does supply chain risk mean? So basically naming Anthropic kind of a company which is kind of a risk to use in America as a constitution throughout the whole as a company. Now the thing is here, from DOW, it kind of like at that time made sense for me when the response was like this, because the reason why I said is because it was in DOW. Now I'm not saying it was right for DOW to use AI for these two things, because like I said, it is complicated for some people. Some people might see it is kind of an opportunity to use this against, let's say, enemies, the word here, and some might say it is not good that AI is getting integrated in the things that can be way too much harmful and not be reliable too much on AI. There are two different things. Whatever you might think about it, about specifically those 2 points Anthropic point out, you can call it and you can have your opinions on my opinion on it. I don't think AI should be getting integrated so fast enough on specifically on DOW, in the weapons department, in the mass surveillance, both. First of all, the amount of time we talked about privacy, the amount of time we talk about how we don't want government to see our messages through, government want to back up encryption codes to see the messages, is insane. We always talk about privacy, that the mass surveillance point, like I said, I agree both of with those points. And second, with also with the fully automatic weapons, I still agree. Like I said, I agree with Anthropic. That is my point of view. If you have any kind of another angle, if you think that AI should be getting used there, why not? Like, let me know down in the comment section. sorry, let me know down in the comment section whatever your thoughts regarding those 2 points are. So Anthropic, like I said, these were their 2 points. On a response, DOW said that they are supply chain risk and we are also will be moving forward to another company. Now in this whole chaos, in next couple of days we see OpenAI making a contract with DOW, because OpenAI saw the path towards going to DOW as kind of a company where no one was willing to go there. The reason I said is no one was willing to go there because these two are really kind of an insane points that Anthropic pulled out. If the government is using mass surveillance for with the help of AI on the people, it's kind of concerning, at least that point to the people, for majority of the people. And like I said, lot of things were happening. It was intense. No AI company, even Elon Musk Gork, I will say, was hesitating. I definitely see. And also Gork does not have any kind of much leverage, at least for now, in the government bodies of US. What happened between Elon and Trump, but there was Google's Gemini, but Google is not desperate to go anywhere, and Google is also not desperate to go, especially for the money. Google will Google will not step in where they will have a bad PR, because I think the money is not the issue for Google right now. So who are the other companies, especially American? The one that remains is OpenAI. OpenAI already has kind of a really good government uh, relationship with the government bodies. Specifically, you can just see how government has given just a Stargate project, $500 billion project, to the Sam Altman's OpenAI in 2025 when the Trump administration won. So when Trump just basically came into power, so basic Sam is there inside the government. So Sam Soupsain takes the deal and gives the permission, and DOW takes that deal and release a statement regarding that we will be the next one to provide AI for our DOW. A lot of people got angry. The reason a lot of people got angry is like, do OpenAI agree and do OpenAI will make weapons and will give power to these DOW to make this kind of weapon? Now, the wording is just tricky. Like I said, when this kind of a contract happen, we don't get any kind of specific documents both from OpenAI and DOW. We just rely on their statements. And one thing you should always understand about a statement coming from a person and a statement coming from a blank leaf in a blog post that is OpenAI did or even DOW did, it's just they can be changed anywhere. There is not kind of a law that this is what we will do. Like the statements given by OpenAI is not a law, is not that contract. It's just they are paraphrasing or even just reframing whatever it is on the contract. They do not even say that these are the specific wording that are included in the contract in there. Both of the statement that the OpenAI has given and even Sam Altman has given on the Twitter. So likely, like I said again, this contract, whatever the contract the OpenAI and DOW did, was kind of like suspect and kind of a sussy, sus. And the contract, basically DOW agrees to give OpenAI kind of a contract, and on a similar basis what DOW did not agree to give that to Anthropic. Now when it was asked to OpenAI why DOW agreed to you to give this kind of guardrails and not to Anthropic by DOW, when journalists ask, when people ask basically on the internet, Sam has to post it and OpenAI also did a statement, and their answer is that they just had a better deal. So basically you can just see from the wording from the OpenAI side and the statements from the OpenAI side is as how it is just blank, I will say. Like it does not make sense whatever the wording they are trying to do. The reason, like I said, is it that OpenAI, from the wording from the whatever the OpenAI has given from the statement, is that OpenAI has just agreed to give them the power to whatever the mass surveillance and fully automatic weapons, whatever they have, or whatever the demands of DOW have. OpenAI has just agreed on that, and on the paper, what OpenAI has agreed is that making a complicated system to move further. What is that complicated system? So basically, OpenAI has kind of did an complicated system, basically with Department of War and AI experts, AI labs, and from some people from OpenAI. This group of people will be deciding how the AI will be used in the further situations. These people will be one who will be drawing lines between here and there. And like I said, when that was the deal kind of an OpenAI just gave in terms of writing wise to the people. We, like I said again, we don't have any kind of specific wording from the contract, and I don't think they will ever give. OpenAI, what they had did, rather than going towards ethics and morals, they have relied on law. They have relied on wording and a typical corporation system, where a typical corporation system where the wording does not matter, no matter what, unless and until it is on the contract. So OpenAI, just what they did is basically made a bunch of money, had years of contract for DOW from the DOW. So basically they will be getting a lot of leverage from that, and they did get OpenAI did get a lot of leverage from that deal, because not even a month after the whole deal between OpenAI and ODOW, OpenAI raised more than 100 billion, basically $112 billion raised by the OpenAI recently. In the last week, OpenAI announced it, and the company's valuation now is $852 billion. So basically 14% of the company equity has given out. Before that, we also had a rumor when the deal was given to the OpenAI. After a couple of days, the OpenAI also had a back-end deal with the lot of big investments, specifically giving to them a 17.5% of equity in OpenAI, and getting a lot of money from them too. So what does that all this means? So let's just get back. Let's just zoom out here. What OpenAI tried to do here from the both side is basically getting a kind of a contract from DOW is a huge deal, and it is a billions of dollar deal that is for multiple years, not just 1 year. On the other hand, OpenAI is also raising money and giving equity to the private investors, and giving them 14%, 13, 17% kind of an equity, and getting money from there. So side 2, what they will be using it for is to build projects like Stargate, that is $500 billion deal, where these are some kind of big data centers that are going to be built all around specifically for now in the US, that are getting built. Now, these data centers will definitely help OpenAI to, with the help of NVIDIA chips, to run their company, to run these models, because these models are getting better but also hard to run. These models are expensive to run. So basically, OpenAI just got a lot of money through getting a contract from DOW, and giving equity to a lot of investors, on the basis of giving them kind of a future where OpenAI will succeed, and a lot of money will be given to these people, to the investors. So this is kind of a deal where Salman made in this just one amount of span in this whole thing that is happening. Basically trying to just make OpenAI survive here, because like we talked in the last 2 months, OpenAI was not going good, because with the overall Sora app being shutting down, because a lot of money getting lost there. The second thing was also the fact that because of that, the Disney deal was gone. A lot of video deals, that whatever they were planning, was basically gone, and a lot of models were getting retired. So basically, if you know also that since the past year, OpenAI has not been able to keep their promise, or not just promise, but I will say keep their models just running. Even models like 4.0 and 4.0 mini are just gone and will be retired in next couple of months, even though they are good as, and people can just have and make their work around all around it, you know. So it is expensive for them to keep run multiple models. It is expensive to was for them to run soda model. And like I said, the OpenAI is also going for an IPO later this year, both OpenAI and Anthropic. So OpenAI needed a lot of money because I've, as I talked about in the AI bubble video, OpenAI is in a situation where OpenAI is hanging around just a little bit because of some kind of people working all around it, basically Sam, Greg, and backing from Microsoft. Because Microsoft, what Microsoft gave to OpenAI, like an independent company, but getting a good deal from them. And what Sam Altman is trying to do here is try to sustain his company and trying to make it a standalone, a good company here. What I mean by good company is just make it running. OpenAI also stated in a recent when they talked about the $100 billion money raised, they talked about they are making $1 billion in a revenue in a month. That kind of a revenue does, like I said, does not justify the fact that the company valuation is $852 billion. Even if OpenAI's valuation is $8 billion a month, or it does not make sense that the company's valuation is $852 billion. Like I said again, it is not going into any kind of profit. They are still losing their money. What OpenAI just had now, or OpenAI has now, is just a lot of money like that they can use to build their Stargate project, specifically a big ambitious project for America, that multiple data centers, and keep the company running. So basically that is kind of an deal, and that is kind of a way Sam Altman just fought around a last month whole, where he did a deal with a lot of investors and DOW. What does that make sense to me is that, like I said again, how good of a businessman he is. I just applaud him for that, to survive that company. OpenAI is also one of those AI companies who has to figure out a way to make sure the company is running, and they don't have an infinite money like others. Google on the other hand, Gork on the other hand, Anthropic on the other hand, even they Microsoft, whatever the companies they are talking, they just have a lot of money, and that kind of a money is in like hold them back, and they don't try to do too much, and they don't try to risk too much. That's why a lot of companies did not go to DOW when the deal was just open around, because like I said, Sam Altman, Sam Altman had just had a good relationship with the government bodies, and that's why they got a deal. And that is what kind of an, I will say, kind of an clarity we have right now on this whole situation. Why do we care? Why do I care about this so much? Is that, first of all, we get to know like OpenAI will be there, the bubble will be not busting soon enough, because they still have money to burn. They still have a lot of money to burn now, and I think this year will be go just like that. I think 100 billion is enough for them to survive this year. And I feel like the pivotal movements for OpenAI, what they were, was Sora, that they did last year, and the Sora app, which they believe will be working, which not, they then dumped it. What are the next pivotal movements for OpenAI? There are a couple of. OpenAI is also focusing on now Anthropic model. What is that? Is much more focusing on the enterprise model. Sorry, not Anthropic. Anthropic, just like how Anthropic focus on the enterprise model rather than the user model, like me or you, majority of the time they focus on the companies much more, and that's how kind of, and they make more money right there in that kind of a business. OpenAI is going towards that. OpenAI, like I said, in the last 2 months, you can see the Codex one, making much of a product for around something that is basically helpful, at least in the AI right now, that is coding. So Codex is one of them, and making a lot of tools around is what of what I think OpenAI is trying right now. And in next couple of months we might see not just at ChatGPT 6 but a lot of tools that OpenAI is trying to make. And what OpenAI will do is basically OpenAI is trying to make a super app kind of a thing, basically everything around one app. If you are an OpenAI user, if you go to the OpenAI app on your smartphone, you go and see there you can connect a lot of apps like Spotify, like Uber Eats, I think, and Canva. These are just some kind of partnership they have done. So OpenAI, what they're trying to do is kind of and make a super app there. They will provide kind of an, let's say, all these kind of an tools and functions and apps that are that can get connected to OpenAI, and that one super app can be basically be that one super app basically can be a big business model for them. I think they will do, because they talked about it in their recent blog statement when they talked about the $100 billion raise, which is kind of an their further, like I said, moves, making a lot of tools, make a lot of deals with the companies, try to make integration models like what Samsung is trying to do with their AI integration, like we talked about in a couple of episodes ago, and also trying to do the product one that is coming next year most probably, or around the IPO we can see OpenAI also launch their IPO and also launch their product both at the same time. Kind of an, like I said, a opportunity for them to come into the market with a product, physical product, with the Johnny Ive they are trying to make. So it is kind of an, like I said, a new path that OpenAI has taken here. So what we understand from this whole thing, what I understand from this whole thing is, like I said before too, uh, what a new path OpenAI is taking is basically making kind of an super app, trying to much more deal around something that is much more profitable. So they don't want to spend too much money that they used to spend, and spend less money and try to make practical tools. That is their major goal. Second thing I think OpenAI will be trying to do is uh, sustain it and look forward for their IPO that is coming next year or later this year, where they will be not just launching the IPO, but I will definitely say we will definitely get an pre-order or pre-visualization or whatever it is of their product they are making. So that is, I think, the path that OpenAI is doing. The another angle for me here is that OpenAI is also planning for uh, like with the product whatever they are going to make, because we haven't got any kind of AI product that is apart from integrating it on smartphone. Like the major thing for AI right now is getting it into hardware products. So basically whatever the I the rabbit R1 tried to do, or whatever the human AI pin tried to do, whatever the meta is trying to do with their meta glasses, you know, trying to build the next product, trying to build the next smartphone, whatever it is kind of a big deal, and that is a big race that also OpenAI is chasing with all other in the industry. But the thing is, in this whole situation is that smartphone is just a great device. I think we can agree on that. I think a lot of people agree on that, and that's why it is just hard to beat. And I will say, like, it is a pretty good device. Like a lot of people just want like there are just a lot of concepts I just see on the internet, like there some are ridiculous specifically with the AI and some are good. But the thing is, smartphone on its own is such a good kind of a device, it's just impossible to beat. So like I said, it is a race. Not all people is going to be using this kind of glasses. These are not glasses, I'm just pointing out, like glasses, and not all people are going to use, like I said, these devices in future, because it is going to be not a dominant market I feel like, but it is going to be get much more separated, like integrated, like a not convergence. So basically they're not coming into one thing. I think people will be using different things upon different thing, like how there are different products for different things. Like there is a reason why there is an ipad. It is just a smartphone, like, but with a bigger screen. what people want. There is a reason why iPhone exists. There is a reason what MacBook exists. There is a reason laptops, smart PCs, so many different variants of it exist. The reason why, because people want not just want to have one device. They don't want to have one device. They want to have basically different device for different things. That is what people wanted, and that is also the reason why there was kind of a boost in last 20 years or last 15 years, was a kind of a boost for the products in the gadget industry, where we were seeing a lot of cool gadgets, and that might be again possible in the next couple of years and next decade or so. We might be seeing a lot of more gadgets when someone cracks the fundamental problems of AI integration or AI devices that these companies are trying to do. Fundamental problems like the usability of it, the form factor of it, the just first of all, just at least working of it. 90% of the time it is not all working well. So like I said, it is a hard to crack industry, and Meta, OpenAI, and Google not as fast as OpenAI and Meta, but they are trying to rush into this industry, and pouring billions of dollars is their way of, like I said, capturing the next market. So this is kind of an angles I see right now for the future path of OpenAI, the future for path of the AI industry from OpenAI side. What do you think about it? Let me know. And the major reason I cover this was because I think it is important to know how AI is getting integrated, uh, and how fast it is getting integrated, like in the war and in the environment, not just you. Like, it is getting so much push around onto the face of us that it is just impossible to ignore. And I feel like that is also the majority reason. Like, what I talked about you all right now about Anthropic, all the whole drama, there is a lot of politics and there is a lot of things involved there. But I did not go there because I really wanted to stay in a lane specifically regarding around AI, to give you kind of a clarity what I got. Because I don't want to go, at least for now, into the politics version of the same drama, because there is a thin line. Because what I'm doing here is not political commentary. What I'm doing is how politics is getting influenced by AI industry, and how AI industry, basically this tech industry, is influencing politicals in a way, to give you some kind of clarity. That is how it is. So if you are much of a well versed in that, if you have any political angle in that, yeah, we can talk about in that comments. But yeah, this is kind of a thing. I'm also trying to figure out how to talk you guys about something kind of in certain topics. If you like this, specifically the second topic that I talked about, let me know now in the comment section. I will be happy to read all of it. If you have any kind of problems, or any kind of suggestion or any kind of feedback, what I did wrong, uh, what I said wrong, or what technical I said wrong, just let me know down in the comments. I'm happy to be corrected.